Hey folks, Phil Gallagher here for your next dose of daily D&T. Today we are going to be playing with the deck list that I just played on stream earlier today for me. Today is August 30th for me, although I think it'll be the beginning of September for you. This is a list that I'm thinking about taking to the GP. This is my starting point for testing, so nothing's set in stone. Just a couple quick notes about some card choices. This list is roughly based on a list by Coco Lopez, from, I think, a second place Legacy Classic. And I've made a few changes. Essentially, we're on a human-heavy build with Crusaders, Tomix, and Jailers in flex slots of the main deck. And the sideboard kind of looks like my traditional sideboard with a whole bunch of Chalice of the Void. I think that card is very well positioned against, like, Ant and Bomberman decks that I think are good decks to beat for the tournament. And otherwise, most of what's here is pretty normal looking. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into a league and see how we did. So since the video will already have been published by the time you watch this, earlier today I 4-1'd with this deck list as sort of the starting point for my testing. And I'm pretty happy with that, obviously. Wins were against Maverick, Blue-White Delver, Death and Taxes, and the Epic Storm, and the loss was to Blue-Black Shadow. I won the die roll. Let's fight. Let's mulligan. Then fight. Keep. The hand's a little sketchy even with the Vial, but I don't think it's worth going to 5. We're going to throw back our redundant Vial here. So either our Vial resolves and we probably won't have anything to dump in with it initially, or our Vial doesn't resolve and we just start hardcasting our stuff. Yeah, force pitching a Daze. So we are confirmed on the plan of let's just hardcast our idiots. Probably not playing around Daze. Yeah, we will just jam threats into Daze here. Feels kind of like we're playing against a Delver deck. Probably like the no bad cards Rug Delver. In which case, I like playing a Crusader on an empty board. That's not going to be good anytime soon. But I don't exactly hate drawing it still. Alright, fine. So that stings a little bit because my opponent can Wrenn in 6. My Flicker Wisp is going to look real bad. And if they can Dreadhorde Arcanist, it also looks bad for me. Alright, we will continue the plan of just jam. Oh my gosh! My opponent is trading super aggressively for my creatures. I don't know that a 3-1 flyer was worth 2 cards there. But I obviously don't know what my... Oh my... Wow! Does my opponent just have Wrenn in 6 now, and that explains that action? Yes. But if you have Wrenn in 6, why would you just, like, force a Flicker Wisp instead of just, like, minusing on it? So they don't know that I have the Batterskull, which is very nice for me. Note the difference between Fiery Islet and Lonely Sandbar being very noticeable here. It's costing my opponent that land drop to dig for a Lightning Bolt effect here, which is pretty big. There's a real temptation for me to just slam this Palace Jailer, but I think it's just so much better to put my Batterskull in play. I want to be able to pressure that Wrenn and 6. Because even if my opponent pluses with the Wrenn and 6, I'm threatening Batterskull plus Sword of Fire and Ice equip next turn, killing the Wrenn and 6. And my opponent has just conceded the game there. Nice Wrenn and 6, friend. Alright, so against Delver, we'll probably want Paths, Rest in Peace, and Council's Judgment. We'll be looking at 6 cards here. We probably still don't want the Phyrexian Revokers, even though they can shut off Wrenn and 6. We're hoping to invalidate those with Rest in Peace or Council's Judgment. We're going to be probably trimming some number of X1s anyway. Probably going to go and cut my Sanctum Prelate. Not super sure about playing Palace Jailer. I think I want to be a little bit leaner and low to the ground. And then the next question is, what do I want to trim after that? And I think it's probably Recruiter of the Guard. So we're junking these 6 cards for Paths, Rest in Peace, and Council's Judgment. We're going a little light on creatures, but I think all in all that's fine. I wonder if my opponent just kind of punted away that game by forcing my Flicker Wisp. It is possible that they just like drew the Wrenn and 6 as their draw for that turn, and they weren't playing with that information. But like, what would one more Force of Will have done for them? Probably a ton. We're on a hand where we really need this Ether Vial to resolve, but even if it doesn't, we still have 3 relevant 1-drops. So I think this is still a very strong keep. Like we have Force of Will, Force of Negation, Spell Pierce Daze, and to a lesser extent things like a Braid that I need to respect. It looks like my opponent is probably on multiple of these. That jerk. That's fine. Spiking a land would be incredibly solid here. Nope. So we'll just pass the turn with Violin, a Mother of Runes end of turn as an action that we'll probably end up taking. No need to cast a Mother of Runes into Wrenn and 6 here. Note, I'm probably stone cold dead to an Abrade on my Vial here, because then I can't, like, end of turn, Mother of Runes, do something cool. So my opponent does have a Bolt up for a Mother of Runes. Alright, they did have it. So the next thing I'll need to think about is, like, am I ticking this Vial up, which is why I turned off my auto yield. I think I am going to go ahead and tick it up. Good lord, okay. 3, 6, 7 cards, so I can go ahead and wait on deploying the Stoneforge until my opponent's end step. My opponent's pauses are relatively long here. Yeah, that's the sort of thing I didn't want to see. We're gonna get the batter skull. Spiking the land is pretty great. So now we kind of get the question of what do I want to do with my turn, because there's so many ways to play this. I think my mana is best spent activating Stoneforge Mystic. So then the next question becomes, do I just want to Flicker Wisp out the Ren and 6 and deny them a land drop, or do I just want to hold up my Flicker Wisp / be able to put in Mirran Crusader? And I think I just want to hold up my stuff. Crop rotation. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You're just gonna get a Wasteland. Just have access to that effect. Ooh, a Barbarian Ring. That is mighty annoying. And maybe a bit too deep, in my opinion. So that, well, all right. Activate. Put in Batter Skull. Done. So let's take. Do I want to take my 2-for-1 here? If I take the 2-for-1, the Ren and 6 is just going to go and get me, right? So like I would save the Stoneforge and then like make them use the Barbarian Ring on it, but then they'd Ren and 6 minus here. I could just take this opportunity to go and put in my Mirran Crusader at end step. That still runs into the same Barbarian Ring problem. I'm wanting to resolve this Rest in Peace. So I could just put in my Flicker Wisp, blink out the Ren and 6 before they use it. Cause them to put the Barbarian Ring in the graveyard, allowing me to nab it with Rest in Peace. It's kind of a weird line. But I think I'm going to take that. This is very good if they cannot counter my Rest in Peace. I guess in retrospect, if they had found a green fetch land, they could have just redeployed the Ren and 6. Or sorry, it was not return to hand. No, never mind. I'm sorry. Thinking too much. Ignore that. So let's say always no to that. No. Super happy to draw that so I can play my Rest in Peace around days. This resolving is huge. That's super unfortunate. So now my opponent's decisions are going to be kind of interesting. But they have all these pain lands, right? Do I even want to put in this Crusader? Like, putting in the Crusader just offers it up to the Barbarian Ring. I don't think I want to put that in. I think we're just gonna hold the fort here. Hand not looking great. Okay, so what if I offer 2 moms as tributes? So I can offer a mom, it gets Barbarian Ring. I offer a second mom, it gets Renin 6. Then my opponent redeploys Barbarian Ring and still can answer my Crusader. Yep, this is just going to be a moment to pass the turn. It's one of Barbarian Ring absolutely giving me fits. That's fine. That we're very well equipped to beat. Still doesn't make sense to put in the Crusader. This is not normally how a Delver match goes. But that's probably painfully obvious. So looking for something like Atomic. What are you doing? Like, I get that, like, this is a speed bump for me, but like, wait for me to play a card. Like, you're pulling so far ahead every turn with your Renin 6 activations that I think you can totally wait there. Yeah, so like, if you're not gonna attack with the True Name Nemesis, what is your advantage of doing that now? I don't know about that line. Hey, Atomic. Now we can potentially play this really awkward game of like Barbarian ring it plus Renin 6 it, I bounce it for a few turns until they answer it. And then hopefully by then I've found something cool to do. Come on, Rug Delver. Go home. You're drunk. I think my opponent is at least 3 bad cards, Delver. At least. My opponent's absolute reluctance to go and attack with the true name is giving me fewer outs. I think I'm just supposed to discard rather than play out any of this stuff. Yeah, you know what? I'll play out the Thalia, and if they want to like minus to ping that, cool. Or it can kind of serve as a Rishadan port. Alright, so if my opponent had Barbarian ringed it at the end step, I would have bounced it, and then I would have had to discard a card. So my opponent could have attacked me from that front, but did not. Sure, you bounced a Thalia, so now are you just going to like return to nature my Vial? Oh, you have another Renin 6. That's unfortunate. Again, since opponent is not attacking with their true name Nemesis, I'm still very much in this game with a Rest in Peace resolving. I do only have one more of those. But let the record show. So if I Vial in Crusader, my opponent just Barbarian rings it, and I don't actually get anywhere. That's fine, so I'll take this hit. Does that land change anything about what I'm doing? No, probably not. At some point, I can make a move of like play like Mom, Thalia Atomic in one turn and just try to overload. But we are not there yet. Now I don't really think I beat that. Well, there's Worlds. But this is pretty rough. I think I'm just going to concede this one for the sake of my own time here. Yeah. Alright, does anything change based on what I saw that match? I don't really think so. I think we kind of hit an unfortunate series of cards. Go ahead and whack submit here. I would like to play first. This is a fine hand. Turn 2 Thalia on the play, followed by Thalia's Forever. And the Stoneforge Mystic once things are safe. That's kind of what I didn't want to see on turn 1. I really just wanted to see like a Ponder on turn 1. force, pitching Force of Will. Running 6 here again will be devastating because it shuts off both of these as valid cards. Well, that's bad. So is the second Caracas. But not unbeatable. Thalia versus Stoneforge is pretty close here. Thalia makes it so that if they don't have land 3, they can't flash back, like play and flash back something with Arcanist. But Thalia is bad against just like land Ren and 6. I guess that would make this just a 1/3 for a turn. I kind of want to play a Thalia this turn so I can Thalia and Stoneforge next turn. And I can play this Thalia with at least some degree of protection. Goodbye, some degree of protection. Well, that's not bad. I'm going to take them off red here. I think the crop rotation in these deck lists is terrible, but that doesn't mean it's not getting me here. It's really frustrating. Watch them daze me now. No, okay, good. They didn't like what they saw with the Delver. I don't think they have a removal spell currently. I think playing that is good enough that I'm willing to not leave the Caracas protection up on Thalia. But if my opponent dazes this, I'm just letting it go. That Delver is not very cooperative. I like it. I'm super happy to have these in the hole. My opponent does have Threshold. So the Barbarian Ring is live. So this should not work. But Maybe they have other plans. And just for the sake of argument, if mom was a giver there would be a difference. All right, opponent has drawn a brainstorm. Don't really know that that's the optimal way to play that brainstorm there. They're just setting themselves up for a brainstorm lock. They can't lightning bolt anyway after drawing. So I won that one, but I don't know that my opponent's deck list was built optimally or that my opponent played that one optimally. Obviously, I don't know their hands. I don't know all of the circumstances. Um, but like you can kind of see how playing the utility lands that require you to actually play the land onto the battlefield actually was kind of hurting them, right? Like the Barbarian Ring and the Fiery Islet were costing them their land drops, whereas Lonely Sandbar would have potentially just cycled and allowed them to like continue to get mana that can allow them to play through Thalia. So we won that one, but it maybe could have been closer, or my opponent maybe could have stolen that one. All right, see you all tomorrow.